Hello, and we are on our way to the closing on our property.
Yay!
Yay, indeed. And the last video we made, we were going out to walk the property a bit, and we were talking about some reasons, why we were wanting to homestead. And one of the things that we probably should have talked about, that we were just thinking about, is a little bit of the financing aspect of buying land. And the reason is because there were things about this process that we were unfamiliar with, and if you haven't bought raw land before, you may not be familiar with it either. So we thought we'd share some of the things that we learned. It's a little different than buying a house because the bank doesn't really see raw land as having much value to them. So that means that the terms for your loan, if you get a loan, if you buy cash, then it's not as big of a deal. But we weren't able to buy cash or buy the land for cash. So we had to go with financing, and so the terms aren't quite as good. So one thing we didn't know was that we had to put much larger down payment than we were expecting, and we had sold a little piece of property we had next to our current house, and we were going to use the proceeds from that for our down payment, but even that wasn't enough for it. So we had to figure out some what word I'm trying to think of, interesting ways to some creative ways to finance this whole process. So we talked to a friend of ours who does mortgages and that sort of thing, but her company doesn't do land loans, they just do mortgages. So she suggested to us that we should try to either go through a credit union or a local bank, because they will more than likely be doing things in-house, and they have a lot more flexibility on what they can offer. So we ended up we didn't shop around a whole lot, but I looked into one of the credit union that we use for our small business, and then a local bank we ended up going with that we had worked with a little bit in the past. So but they got us going. And what we actually ended up doing, because we have quite a bit of equity in our current home, is taking out a home equity line of credit, and using that. We're going to use that today for the rest of the down payment, besides what we already had, in order to get the amount of down payment. The down payment was 30 or 35%?
I believe it was 30%.
I don't know why, I can't remember now. But anyway, it's pretty big amount for a down payment. So we didn't have quite enough to do that. So we're getting the rest of the money from the HELOC. Sorry. I guess you're driving too slow.
Yes, I'm driving too slow. And there was a no passing zone.
Oh, lovely.
Good work.
So the bank is providing the rest of the down payment through the HELOC, and we'll have to make payments, of course, on the HELOC, and payments on the land as well. But then we'll also have that line of credit open that we can start using to do improvements to the land, and eventually we'll probably sell our current home and pay off the HELOC and all that, but we're not really sure what direction we're going to take with that yet. Kind of a lot of factors going into that decision. We may rent our current house. It just kind of depends on a lot of things. So, but anyway, and then the terms of the loan are a little different than a mortgage too. Mortgages are typically, like, our current mortgage, I think, is a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, but the land loan is not. amortize over that period of time. I believe it's over 15 years instead. So that changes the amount you're paying, and the interest rate gets like reassessed every couple of years. Depends on what you decide to do. The bank had different options for us, so it's not a fixed rate loan, which is kind of, well, not ideal, but
interest rates.
Yeah, interest. But eventually, if you get the land and you build a house on it, then you can refinance the property into a regular mortgage and have better, more favorable terms. So, but anyway, that's just some stuff that we wanted to share about that whole process. And I'm sure it's different, depending on the bank that you have. This bank is going to keep the loan in-house, so we'll be dealing with just them. Some banks they'll go through the whole process with you for getting the loan set up, and then they'll end up selling you off to another bank. And it's kind of nice going through a local bank that's doing it in-house, so you know who you're dealing with. But yeah, so we're going to the closing today and getting ready to be new property owners. Double property, yeah. We already have our current property, but then we can, when we have the time, as the school year wraps up, we can get out there and start doing some work on it. So anyway, that's just some things we wanted to share with you, and hopefully you found this helpful. Thanks, and bye.